I'm Huston Dodge, and I was born in 1917. I'm now 91 years old, and the boat was built in the 1930s by John Chase and me and Captain Strout. And Captain Strout helped us design the boat to where the centerboard and the mast step was supposed to be. And they were built of boards that John Chase's father had. The top boards I put on later because I had to have it higher so that it would be more seaworthy. It was difficult to bend the boards because the ones that John had knots in them, and it was hard to bend them, and some of them cracked a little bit. The boards I put on later were some old floorboards of spruce and didn't have any knots, so they bent easier. That sail was made in canvas, and I got the canvas, and then the sail was built, sold by Fred Kopp, the local shoe repairman in Damariscotta. And I built the centerboard. I had a centerboard, and I also had a tiller on the back. And John named the boat the Ava. She was an English teacher in the Lincoln Academy at that time. I'm the daughter of Captain Dodge in Newcastle. I've taken this boat to. I used to go in the 1950s and 60s. I used to go for a week at a time with the boat. Sometimes I'd have some friends with me, and two of us would go for a week with her, and I've been over to Popham Beach and Seguin Island on one direction, and of course Booth Bay Harbor, and out to Damaris Cove, and out to Heron Island, and on that side, and over to Round Pond, head down there. Spent a week down off the coast there too at times, and Harbor Island, and Marsh Island, Franklin Island, and Indian Island, and Wreck Island. And of course, sometimes you had to be a little careful, rough weather with it. But I never lost a boat, and you had to make sure that you got it up out of the water or up on the shore when on these islands, because sometimes it wasn't a very good place to land. And I used to be able to handle a boat, weighs about 300 pounds. And she is kind of heavy to try to, if you have to lift it and lug it. I used to haul it with a Jeep over to where I was going to put it overboards, down around ponds. And of course I started from Damariscotta lots of times, down the river and out to sea that way. I've been that way, see. It would usually take a day to get down the river. They didn't know how the wind was. And but it was interest in the trips that I've done with it, and of course the thing about it, you could go in shallow water with it and, without any problems and trouble. And I never went overnight with it with John Chase. It was with some of my Charles Giles went with me, and Joe Griffin went with me some with it. Joe Griffin's a dentist in Damariscotta now. Has his dentist office in the Cottrell House. And Charles Giles, his father was a lawyer, I think in Booth Bay. And his mother was one of my classmates. Dorothy Elliott was her name. She went to school with me at Lincoln Academy, and this was in the 1930s. See, I was 20 years old in 1937. Well, John and I thought we'd like to build a boat, see, at that time. Of course, my interest in woodworking has been since I was about 10 years old. And started then, and people helped me. Usually taught me how to use tools. People who worked in the shipyard at that time, who were retired, and retired people, like down to the golf links. He used to go down there and caddy once in a while, Walnut Country Club, and Ed Bates used to. He was a retired railroad engineer, but he didn't know how to do woodworking, and he taught me a lot about tools, and Jonah Moss had the shipyard there right on where the parking lot is in Damariscotta today, back of the old Nash building, where Nash's Telephone Works used to be. And he taught me a lot of things, and Charles Perkins did, and Warren Brown was another man that taught me a lot about tools. Lived at the foot of High Street in an old shop. And usually I had to paint the boat. I used old gray paint, used all the base paint, and then I painted the bottom part of a liter with black, with roofing tar, and thinned out with furnace oil usually, see. That so I could keep it tight. Which was quite important, see. To have it seaworthy if he was going out to those islands, because you'd be careful of the boat. That was the only way you could get out there, and there was no way to get a hold of people in if it's a lobsterman that went by lobstering at that time, see. But I used to go every year, used to be about Labor Day, around that time I used to go for a week. And I'd choose whether I wanted to go down or go out on the Round Pond side, or whether I want to go down the river. And I used to load the boat in the Jeep and haul it to Round Pond that way. Put the stern in first, and then tie it in there, and then I go down with her and launch her that way, see. Now it'd be difficult for me to lug and lift it, because I can't lift as much now as I used to at 91 years old. I haven't used it for a number of years. Huh?
Is it seaworthy now?
Oh, yes. I just don't think I can go anywhere with it today, yeah.
Where would you go?
Well, probably down to Outer Heron or Harbor Island, someplace like. I'll probably have to have someone with me, because it's hard for me to lift it alone, see. Now I need to have people go with me more than I used to. But I'm fortunate that I can get around and do things too, you know, which a lot of people my age can't. The boat's name is the Ava, and that's what John called her, named after English teacher at Lincoln Academy. And her father was Captain Dodge, that lived on the River Road in Newcastle. Well, that is all I have to say at the present. And the people now have the boat. The boat is now down at the Damariscotta River Association barn, where they want to have it on exhibition. And it can be seen in the barn.